Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Miss Crochet and Coffee here. And today we are doing our Wip N Chat. So get out whatever it is you're working on. Work along with me. I am working on Where Fun Never Ends by Mandy Manzano and Diamond Art Club. This is for the DP along with Rachel Ray and myself. The only thing you have to do is find something with rainbow and work on it for the DP along. There's no real pressure or anything. We just wanted a real relaxed DP along, something that we could do together, and we wanted to both work on this canvas, so we decided to work on it together. So I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. I spent majority of my weekend in bed being forced to watch Dragon Ball Z because, as you guys already know, little Maggie Pie is sick. Don't worry, she's starting to feel better. She got a little head cold from little neighbor kids across the way there, and I've been, as you guys already saw, because I knew if I didn't show it somebody would ask, yes, she has been getting the tussin. The problem with it is every time you give her the tussin, within 20 minutes you find a crime scene. What I mean by crime scene, which today's word of the day, by the way, is going to be crime scene. You'll understand as we go along. The reason I say you find a crime scene is because this poor child, she can't seem to make it to a bed or a couch or furniture at all. By the time she takes it and walks away, she just kind of passes out. Maggie's only like, I don't know, 50 pounds. She's very small for her age, but that's just because she's so freaking tall. So she will take the meds, and then within 20 minutes, we're like, okay, where at on the floor did Maggie fall out? Now, just because she falls out in the floor doesn't mean we're going to put her on furniture. We've been literally just walking over this poor child like she's an old carpet all weekend. Primarily because Mr. Coffee was the one, he was holding down the ship this weekend because I was suffering from a really bad migraine. I stayed in bed for almost 2 days, but mostly it was Saturday. I woke up and I felt fine. And I had some errands to run. So I ran my errands and I came back, and then all of a sudden it just hit me like a ton of bricks. My head started throbbing and everything, and I was just like, I need to go lay down. I woke up and Mr. Coffee had made dinner. And the kids were just kind of running around like whatever, and I'm just like, I need to go lay down. And then Maggie would come in intermediately and just be like, Mommy, look, there's a new Dragon Ball Z on. And then she'd turn on the TV, but I made her sit at the foot of the bed because, look, listen, I'm not trying to get sick on top of having a migraine, okay? You ever have a migraine and have to sneeze at the same time? Kill me now. So it is actually super early on Monday morning. Why is it so early, you might be asking? Well, let me explain. I went to bed at a decent time. I was in bed before 2 o'clock, which is a feat because normally I'm in bed around 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. That's just because of the insomnia and not being able to sleep or whatnot. And I usually sleep until about 9:45, 10 o'clock. And then I get up and I get ready for my day. It is currently 7:30 in the morning. Now, why am I awake? So, this morning, Mr. Coffee obviously had to go to work, so he woke up, but him waking up didn't wake me up. I'm a light sleeper as it is, and his alarms went off, so I usually like kind of half wake him up, and I'm like, hey, get up, get ready for work, and he's just like, okay, so he got up. But then Daisy decided she was gonna start her crap this morning because the dogs sleep in my room. So Daisy was whining at my door, but Daisy is like a very awkward, clumsy teenager. And no offense to the teenagers out there, but you're awkward and clumsy. And Daisy was spinning around. Now the doors upstairs, where the doors downstairs are not weighted, the doors upstairs are. And what I mean by weighted is you can't just open them. Like, they're heavy, so you have to put a little force behind opening them. And I really wish I could switch one of the doors upstairs for the door downstairs, because then that way Killian wouldn't be able to get out of the house whenever he wants to, which there was another incident of that this morning. It's been a weird morning, okay? So I'm sitting here, or I'm laying in bed, and I'm minding my own goddamn sleepy business, and I just hear the door slam because Daisy has taken and started doing circles and crying in front of my bedroom door. And I'm like, what the hell is wrong with this dog? So I go over and I'm like, what's wrong with you? Stop it. and she knows that she doesn't go out this early in the morning, and I knew she didn't have to go out this early in the morning because usually before I go to bed, we take them out one more time to go pee. So I was like, what the hell is wrong with this dog? Now, Mr. Coffee in the morning when he's getting ready for work, don't think he's doing anything besides getting ready for work. He will not take the dogs out. He will not do anything. He's focused. Like, he's still half asleep. So he's focused on getting out to work. So that, and I wouldn't really ask him, hey, could you stop what you're doing and take the dog out? Even though it's right across the way there, I know he would fuss, so I don't want to hear it. So I'm just like, whatever. So I'm like, yeah, I'm not taking you out this early, dog, because you're going to start expecting me to take you out this early every morning. And guess what? That's not happening. So I go over to her water dish, and her water dish is empty. And usually the water dishes are emptied at night so that they don't drink a bunch of water in the middle of the night and then have to go pee or something in the house while we're sleeping. So I was like, okay, well, it's too early for water because we don't start giving them water until after they get back in from their walk in the morning. So I was like, I don't know what's wrong with this dog. You want to know what's wrong with her? She left one of her toys down here and she wanted to play. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me right now? It's 7:30 in the morning. Now, I never get up this early. I am not a morning person. Question of the video, not even 10 minutes in. Are you a morning person? Yes or no? Yay or nay? Me? Nay, nay. I am not a morning person. I'm not nice in general, let alone in the morning. Do not catch me in the morning. If you have questions, don't ask them in the morning. I'm not in a good mood in the morning, usually because I'm mad because I'm awake and it's the morning. I am not a morning person. I usually tell people if you want to get in contact with me while I'm in a good mood, anytime after noon, I'm in a good mood because I've already had my coffee, I've taken my medicine, and I'm sitting down, chilling, relaxing. And so I'm just like, why the hell am I up this early for you to play with a freaking toy? Like, this is not playtime. So I was already mad. So I go back and lay back down because then Mr. Coffee was leaving. To which I don't know why this man can't leave without waking me up. But he wakes me up and he's like, I'll, see you later on today. I love you, whatever. And I'm just like, all right, love you, bye. Trying to get some sleep. So I'm laying here and I'm falling back to sleep and she's still whining. And I'm like, what the hell is wrong with this freaking dog? I know she doesn't have to go to the bathroom because she's not going towards the door to go outside. She's just wanting to play. The problem is nobody wants to play with her at 7 in the morning. And I'm like, I'm not playing with you at 7 in the morning. Like, this is not happening. Well, then as I start closing my eyes, I hear a door open and I'm thinking it's Mr. Coffee because he had to get out of the house somehow. So I'm like, it's Mr. Coffee. So I didn't pay any attention to it, and then Daisy leaves, and I was like, oh, thank God, I can go back to sleep. And then I hear, like, running up and down the stairs, and I'm like, okay, who's running up and down the stairs? The kids should be asleep. Nobody's awake, so who the hell is running up and down? It's Daisy. She got the zoomies. She's got the zoomies. I don't know what she put in herself this morning, but apparently it gave her the zoomies and made her want to play at 7 in the morning. And I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you? And then I hear other footsteps that aren't dog footsteps going up and down the stairs. And I'm like, it's 7 in the morning. At this point, it's 7:15. I'm getting irritated because I can't get back to sleep because I can't figure out what the hell the noise is going up and down the stairs. So I was like, you know what? If it's a murderer, let them kill me. I don't care. I'm going back to sleep. So I lay back down, close my eyes for maybe 10 minutes. And then I hear the noise again. Excuse me. And I'm just like, what the hell is that noise? So I get up and I go over to the door and I'm like, what the hell? And I look over and I see something like scoot past really quick and go into Maggie's room. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Now take it. Maggie went to bed early last night because, again, we found her on the floor. So we just picked her up. Now, if it's bedtime, we will pick her up and put her in bed. But during the day, that's when we just kind of step over her like she's an old carpet because there's no point because she's just going to get up and like, she'll sleep for like 20, 30 minutes and then she'll just pop back up and start playing like she wasn't just asleep. So it's just like, okay, whatever. She fell asleep last night in the hallway, so I had to pick her up because she fell asleep near the stairs. And so I picked her up and because Orion came and got me and was like, Mom, Maggie fell asleep in the hallway again, but she's near the stairs. And I didn't want her to roll down the stairs, so I had to go pick her up and go put her in bed. So I was like, all right. So she apparently wakes up this morning because she was super excited last night because before she went to and fell asleep, her and Mr. Coffee went out to Walmart because I was really craving a Pop-Tart. You guys ever, like, just crave something stupid in the middle of the night? Like, it wasn't even the middle of the night. It was like 9 o'clock. And I was like, dude, I could really go for a freaking Pop-Tart. Now, second question of the video. What's your favorite type of Pop-Tart? Are you a frosted Pop-Tart or are you a non-frosted Pop-Tart? If you don't know what a Pop-Tart is, Pop-Tarts are toaster pastries, I guess some people call them. I call them Pop-Tarts, okay? They're the Pop-Tarts. You put them in the toaster and you pop them up and you eat them. They're Pop-Tarts. I like mine without the frosting on the top. So, like, I like the non-frosted ones. And I asked Mr. Coffee if he would go to the store and get some. Now, I made sure he got some for me and the kids. Why? Because I'm smarter than the average bear, that's why. My voice is a little crackly. I do apologize. I don't know what's going on. I don't think I'm getting sick. I think it's just because it's this early in the morning. I'm not used to being up this early in the morning. And I haven't even had the first sip of my coffee yet. That's how early it is in the morning. All right, now I've had my first sip of coffee. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, what just scooted into Maggie's room? So I go over to Maggie's room and I look, and it's Maggie. Maggie has decided to grace us with her presence this early in the morning. Now, I'm like, you know, Maggie, what are you doing? Because I see stuff all over her face. And I'm like, why is it when children eat food, it's always like a crime scene? Like, there's always crumbs left. There's always, like, they're covered in it. It's like, did you eat it or rub it on your face? And I'm sitting there looking at Maggie, and I'm like, hey, home chick, what are you doing up this early? My kids are never up this early. Like, they don't even get up this early for school. Like, I have to drag them out of bed. So I'm like, why are you up so early? She's like, I wanted a Pop-Tart. Why are children afraid that somebody's going to come in the middle of the night and they're not going to steal anything else in the house? No money, no electronics, just the food that they want to eat. She got up because she wanted to get up before anybody else to get a Pop-Tart for fear that somebody was going to eat all the pop. I would like to know what Pop-Tart goblin is coming into my house at 7 in the morning to eat Pop-Tarts, okay? I don't usually keep Pop-Tarts in my house. This is the first time we've had Pop-Tarts in over 2 years, okay? I don't keep them in the house because they don't last long because the kids, when I get Pop-Tarts, that's all they want to eat is Pop-Tarts. So it's like, they don't last very long, maybe like a week or two. And I usually get like the smaller boxes. So like they each get like 3 or 4 before the box is empty. And I'm just like, oh, okay, well, you know, back to cereal. So, or oatmeal. Because I do love me some oatmeal in the morning. Like, my favorite breakfast food in the morning is oatmeal. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, you wanted a Pop-Tart. I'm like, who's going to steal and eat the Pop-Tarts, Maggie? She's like, I don't know. Okay. So I go downstairs and of course there's the crime scene. Pop-Tart box just exploded open. Pop-Tarts laying out all over the counter. Crumbs all over the table. And I'm looking at them like, you couldn't bother to clean that up? And she's like, well, I had to hurry up and get back upstairs. I'm like, why? She's like, because I wanted to go back to sleep. I'm like, do you know something that I don't know, Tootsie? And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, is there a Pop-Tart goblin? And she's like, what's that? I don't know, Tootsie. Apparently it's something or someone that comes in a house and eats all the Pop-Tarts. I'm like, why exactly did you feel the need to come downstairs at 7:15 in the morning to eat a Pop-Tart just to go back to bed? And Maggie likes to do this. Maggie will sneak food so she can have 2 breakfasts because she can't make up her mind which one she wants. So she'll get up super early, have her first breakfast, and then get up when everybody else gets up to have a second breakfast. Which is why I don't understand how come she's so freaking tiny, because she literally eats 2 breakfasts. She'll eat lunch, and then she'll eat dinner and a snack. And I'm just like, you would think I don't feed this child, like, daily. Like, she eats as if she doesn't get fed. Like, she will try to sneak, like, her big thing is usually sneaking cheese. And she just discovered string cheese. Look, listen, nobody can tell her nothing right now. She's in love with her string cheese. And I'm like, I'm surprised you can go to the bathroom with as much cheese as you be eating, because cheese gets you constipated. And she's like, what's that mean? I'm like, cheese makes it where you can't poop. It clogs you up. And she's like, I'm not clogged up. I took a dump yesterday. Thanks, Maggie. Thank you for that that thralling story. So I'm sitting here and I'm just like, okay, whatever. Just lay back down and go to sleep. Meanwhile, Daisy is still whining, but this time she's whining at the door. So I was like, okay, now you have to go to the bathroom because you've been up for a while. and you're like, oh, well, now it's time for me to go to the bathroom. Now, any other time, my dogs know that whenever my echo goes off, the echo lets them know when it's time to go potty. The echo hadn't been off yet, but Daisy didn't care. F that echo. She wants to go potty now at 7:30 in the morning. And I'm like, you've got to be freaking kidding me. So I had to get up and get dressed and take her outside. Now, I'm a little traumatized by going outside to the dog park right now, because if you go outside, it's summer. So if you go outside and they just water the grass, all the mosquitoes that are hiding in the grass like to pop up. So when I went to go clean up after them the other day, I got attacked by 8 mosquitoes, and I have mosquito bites all over my arms. And so I haven't been outside to walk the dog since Saturday. Because Saturday I did go out before I walked the dog. Sorry, see if there's a dog fur on my canvas somehow. Before I went to go walk the dogs, or before I went to run my errands, I walked the dogs Saturday, so Mr. Coffee didn't have to get up early. He still didn't get up till 1 o'clock, so I didn't go bother him until 1 o'clock anyways. So I'm sitting there, and then I'm like, fine. And Mr. Coffee had bought some bug spray for when the kids go outside, so I was like, let me put some bug spray on. So now I have to sit here with this greasy feeling of bug spray all over my pants, because I had to put bug spray on at 7 in the morning, so I'm going to get a shower as soon as I'm done. But I was like, hey, since I'm up early, I might as well record my Wip N Chat. So I'm like, okay, let me take the dogs outside. Now, I would like to know what kind of Houdini magic my husband used to get the hell out of the house this morning. Let me explain. So, Mr. Coffee, there's only 3 ways out of the house. The garage, through the front door, through the back door back here in the kitchen. So, I'm sitting here, and I spray myself down. But, of course, if you get that spray on the floor, because it is a greasy spray, if you get the spray on the floor, you have to clean it up, or you're going to trip and fall and kill yourself. So I was like, okay, let me go get the Swiffer mop and mop up that part of the floor, so that I have one of those, like, dry mop things where you squeeze the handle and the spray comes out from the mop, and then you just, clean it up like that. So I did that to the floor where I sprayed my pants so I didn't get attacked by mosquitoes again. And I go in the laundry room area, or as we like to call it, the mud room, because that's where Mr. Coffee dumps off his dirty boots before he comes into the house. And I go in there, and there's a scooter sitting up against the door. And it's not just sitting up against the door, like it's standing straight up against the door. And I'm like, oh, okay, maybe he went out the front door. Well, then I come out of the laundry room, mop that little spot on the floor, put the mop back, come out, get my key card and my glasses, because I can't go outside without my sunglasses. And I go to the front door, and the baby lock is still on the front door. Now, I'm sitting there, and I'm like, hold up. Then how the hell did he get out the house? He's not going to go out the back door, because there's no way for us to lock the back door from outside. So I was like, okay, he didn't go out the back door. But then he couldn't go out the mud room, because the scooter was literally sitting straight up and down like somebody was riding it in front of the door. And there's no way that he would have been able to put that scooter sitting up like that to stay in front of the door. But the baby lock was on the front door, and you can't put the baby lock on from the outside, obviously, because you have to press 2 buttons to get the little latch to go up. So I'm like, what in the Houdini hell did he do to get the hell out of the house this morning? I have questions. I will have to ask him that later. So I was just like, what the hell just happened here? So I unlocked the baby lock, and then I realized, oh snap, I forgot my socks in the mudroom. So, because I put my socks with my boots, because I wear boots out to the dog park in case I step in something. So I'm just like, because of course nobody around here cleans up after their pets. So I have to put on boots so I don't step in anything. And if I do, it's just my boots. I can rinse them off. They're easy to clean. So I get my boots on. I come back. And I hear the front door, and I'm thinking, oh, well, maybe Mr. Coffee forgot something. I go to look out, and I was like, babe, did you forget something? As I say that, Killian looks back at me, looks at the door, looks at me, looks at the door, jumps up, grabs the handle, pushes it down, which, of course, pushes the door open, and takes off. I just kind of sat there. Daisy is sitting in the doorway watching him run off. She's not helping at all. Like, she's not going after him. She's not coming and telling me that, hey, he just opened the door. She's just sitting there in front of the front door, because Daisy is trained to not leave from in front of the door unless you're accompanied with someone, or there's like an issue where you need to go get help. Killian has taken off. I'm sitting there with a pair of socks in my hand, looking at Daisy with my mouth wide open. And Daisy's looking at me like, hey, Mom, I don't know if you saw that, but Killian just left. And I'm just like, Daisy, I hear your inner thoughts, and you're not helping. And she just kind of lays down. And I'm like, laying down on the job is not helping. Where did your brother go? So she stands up, and she looks outside. She pokes her head outside, and then starts whining. And I'm like, thanks, Daisy. Thanks for the help. You're so helpful. And then she just kind of sits there again, and I'm like, okay. Y'all. I go outside and I'm like, where the hell did this dog run off to now? I'm not chasing him. It's 7:45 in the morning at this point. And I'm like, I don't care what he got off to. Where he got off to was one of the residents here left the back gate open to the dog park. Killian decided he didn't need no leash to get up to the dog park. He was going to walk himself. He's a big boy now. So he ran himself up to the dog park, found out that the gate was open, went into the dog park, and went to the bathroom. And then just sat there waiting for us to get there. Yep. Now the dog's so goddamn smart, he walks himself. And I'm just like, then why did you wake me up? Like, my biggest question when I'm woken up this early, and I will ask it 100 times, why did you wake me up? If you can do this on your own, did you really need to wake me up? Like, currently right now, it's literally hitting 8 o'clock a.m. right now. If you can walk yourself, you can take your sister with you. Y'all can walk yourselves. The only thing is you can't clean up after yourself. So why did you wake me up? Y'all, I'm mad. So that was my morning so far. It's only 8 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. So Mr. Coffee actually just messaged me. He has been, I've been telling you guys that he's been working on homework, like nonstop working on homework, and it's driving me insane because I'm like, I don't get to spend much time with him as it is, and we're still kind of figuring out this, like, you know, I'm having like my office hours where I don't sit back here all day so I can actually spend time with him. We're still figuring all this out, but he's been working on homework nonstop for like the last 2 or 3 weeks, and he finally finished the class that he was in, and he was worried because his homework assignment was turned in a day late. And he had to because he kept getting stuck on the assignment, and then the professor, you know, was trying to talk him through it and everything. But he turned it in a day late, but he still turned it in, and the professor was very impressed at the fact that he not only got behind in the class, but then caught up and was able to get the final in with only just 1 day. Like, and she gave him the extension. He was only 1 day late. So the professor was impressed, and he was worried because he really wanted to pass that class, because if he doesn't pass a class, what ends up happening is he has to take the class over again. And that's $500 out of pocket. No scholarships, no grant, out of pocket. So he's already had to do that once. It was a very expensive mistake because he didn't realize he had started said class. And the class was already like a week in, and he hadn't done any of the assignments, any of the reading or anything. So he just took the L on that one, and they were like, yeah, you're going to have to redo this class to progress forward. And so that's the class that he was struggling with. Well, he finally finishes the class, and he's been worried about his grade, and he just messaged me just now. He got a 91% on the assignment, even for it being a day late. So super proud of him. I'll bake him a cookie or something later. So let's talk about my parents for a second here, okay? As you guys know, Pawpaw had knee surgery recently. He's doing fine. He's healing great. He's off his pain meds. Well, Pawpaw doesn't like to be on pain meds as it is because he knows that they're narcotics and they are easily addictable. And, like, you can get addicted easily is what I've been trying to say. So Pawpaw doesn't like to be on pain meds, so he will wean himself off the pain meds. He's been walking around with his cane. He's been driving already. He's doing great in physical therapy. So, like, he's getting rid of his... I think he said he's getting rid of his cane today. So, I'm sitting in bed yesterday morning, right? I'm in bed. It's like, it's time for me to get up. But I'm doing that thing where when I first get up, I check my messages. I check my email, which... I find it funny because, like, I had a company contact me. Now, I'm a very petty person, okay? Especially when it comes to my name. If a company contacts me and can't get my first name right, I won't do business with said company. Because I feel like if you can't even get my name right, then why should I do business with you? Like, and they'll be like, oh, your channel is so awesome and you have this many subscribers and your views are amazing. We would like to send you something, like they're doing me a favor or something. And I'm just like, nah, you can't even get my first name right. Why do I say it like that? It's because my first name is literally in my email and in the signature of my email. So literally it's on the email. And they still can't get it right. And I'm like, if you still can't pay attention enough to my name to get it correct, I'm not doing business with you. So the company contacted me and they're like, Alishia, Alicia. And I had already sent this company a message letting them know I wasn't interested in whatever it was that they wanted me to show on the channel. And they're like, well, we know your subscribers will love it. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't know what they like, okay? Half the time, I don't know what they like. How the hell are you going to tell me that you know what they like? You want me to show your product, but you can't even get my name correct. No, thank you. No. I have very high standards when it comes to stuff like that. And if you can't figure out the small details, why would I do anything to help you? No. So I'm like, yeah, no, that's not my name, so I think you have the wrong person. And they're like, well, you're Miss Coffee, right? I'm like, I'm Miss Coffee, yes, but my name is not Alishia, so I think you have the wrong Miss Coffee because I'm not the only Miss Coffee on YouTube. And they're like, oh. Like, I had this company seriously thinking that they were talking to the wrong person. They weren't. I just wasn't about to deal with them because they spelled my name wrong, and I don't like it when people spell my name wrong. My name is very unusual, sort of. But I think that if you can pay attention for 30 seconds to look at the bottom of the email to get my name correct, I don't think it will kill you. So I don't like it when people misspell my name. Now, when subscribers do it, that's different because you guys hear me say the name, but you don't hear me spell it too often. So that's different. But when it's companies that want to work with you, if they can't even get your name spelled correctly, no. So I'm sitting there and I'm telling this company, hey, yeah, no, you can't even get my name right. No, thank you. And they're like, well, are you sure? We know your subscribers will love. I'm like, they won't like it. Okay. You're very pushy and I don't like that either. So no, thank you. Have a great day. So I'm sitting there and Mr. Coffee's like, who are you fussing at now? And I'm like, this company that spelled my name wrong. Y'all, they literally came back 3 hours later. Oh, we're sorry. It's spelled. I'm like, you still spelled it wrong. Just no. It was something about puzzles. And I'm like, I don't do puzzles. I don't, no. Shut that down. So I was like, I'm not interested at this time. I do appreciate it, but no, thank you. Are you sure you're a subscriber? I'm like, will you please? Oh my God. Anyways, so I'm laying in bed and I finally get finished with that. And I get an SOS. Now, if you don't know what SOS is, Mr. Coffee calls it save our ship. SOS just usually means I need help. And I got an SOS alert on my phone yesterday morning. So I hop up out of bed like naked Superman. And I'm like, whose SOS is going off? Now, if you have an iPhone, you have a feature on there called SOS. Whereas somebody presses a particular button in their phone, it will contact all their emergency contacts in their phone. And I'm like, I don't know who all has me as an SOS, but it's happened once before with my dad. He was at a funeral and he accidentally butt dialed his SOS. And of course it sent me and my sisters and my mom SOSs on our phone to let us know that he needed help. And it also gives your location. So I'm sitting there and I call my mom that day and I'm like, Mom, is Dad okay? And she goes, I don't know. He went to a funeral. I haven't heard from him, blah, blah, blah. I think my mom had the cops show up at the funeral to make sure my dad was okay. My dad was like, I'm at a funeral. And they're like, sir, your SOS went off. He's like, oh, snap. So, yeah. So that's the first time I had to experience an SOS on somebody's phone. Well, then yesterday, as I'm, laying in bed talking to Mr. Coffee, SOS goes off. I jump up and I'm like, who needs me now? I'm thinking it's my dad again because, of course, Dad just had knee surgery. The last time he had surgery, he had complications. So I was just like, okay, let's just make sure everything's cool. Who is this? I look and it's my mom. And I'm like, oh, hell no. I start freaking out. So I start calling my mom. She's not answering. No. First thought, You ever seen the movie Taken with Liam Neeson? Look, listen, I don't know who you are, but I have a particular set of skills, and I will find you, and I will kill you. And the first thing that went to my head was, somebody kidnapped my damn parents. Now, in the world we live in today, where some of y'all might be like, Miss Coffee, you super paranoid. Nah, look, listen. My parents they're not elderly, but they're old enough, okay? Like, I'm pretty sure you can lower my dad into a vanless window, or a windowless van, if you had Alabama gear, okay? If you give my mom a bingo dauber, she will go anywhere with you, okay? My parents are older. So I'm like, people do kidnap old people. And so Mr. Coffee's like, who's kidnapping somebody? I'm like, somebody done kidnapped my goddamn parents. Book me a flight. I gotta go find out who kidnapped my parents. And Mr. Coffee's like, I don't think anybody kidnapped your parents. What are you trying to say? You trying to say my parents aren't kidnappable? And then I have to have a 20-minute conversation with my husband about how my parents are kidnappable and they're older. So people would be wanting to kidnap them, thinking that they have money. But for real, if you kidnap my parents, you're doing it just for practice because, they're not rich people. They live comfortably, but they're not rich people. So, like, why would you kidnap my parents? But I'm thinking in my head that somebody's gonna kidnap my damn parents. I'm gonna have to go to Alabama and kill somebody because who done kidnapped my goddamn own parents? Meanwhile, I'm trying to call my mom. She's not answering. I'm like, okay, no matter where or what time it is, if I call my dad and he doesn't answer right away, he calls me right back immediately because he knows I have paranoia. So he'll call me back just so, even if he messages me and goes, I'm okay. I called my dad, went straight to voicemail. Nope, somebody done kidnapped my parents. I start putting my clothes on. I start looking up flights. And my sister calls me. I'm like, did you get that? And she's like, yeah, I got it. But they're okay. They're okay? And she's like, yeah, they're okay. I just talked to mom. And I'm like, did you talk to mom or did you see mom's face? Look, listen, the paranoia is real, okay? I want to see my parents' faces because I need to make sure that they're not sending an SOS with their eyelids because somebody has held them hostage somewhere. So I'm like, did you see their faces? And she's, no. Then you don't know if they're okay. Somebody could have kidnapped them, hold them at gunpoint, took their phone and put, yeah, we're okay. And she's like, why are you like this? Tisha, look, listen. These are our parents, okay? This is where our inheritance is coming from, okay? We have to take care of these people because they took care of us. And what kind of a child are you that you don't suspect that somebody could take your parent? By the time I finished talking to her, she was thoroughly convinced that somebody had also stolen our parents. So she's just like, it's only a couple of hour drive for me. I'm like, yeah, but I can fly down and be down there this afternoon. And she's like, I don't know. We got to wait and see. We got to wait and see if mom calls us back. Meanwhile, my mom texts me and she's like, we're fine. No, you're not. Let me see your face. And she's like, what? I'm like, let me see your face. And I messaged my dad again. He didn't message me back. I called him. He didn't answer the phone. I was like, no. See, something ain't right here, Tisha. Something ain't right. Somebody done took our parents. What's going on? Call Auntie Jasmine. She didn't answer the phone. I'm like, you ain't worth nothing. So I go back to my sister Tisha and I'm like, dude, you need to drive to Alabama right now to go check on our parents. And she's like, are you serious? Yes, I am. I'm like, you're not about to have people up here stealing our parents and not doing anything about it. And she's like, nobody stole our parents. How do you know? You won't even go check. Hold on, guys. I got to fix y'all. Y'all cattywampus over here. I'm like, you won't even go check. So she's like, it's 7 hours. I'm like, get your butt up and go check on our parents. And she's like, Alishia, they're fine. No, they're not. No, they're not. What's going to happen when you see them on the news that they've been kidnapped? And she's like, Alishia, nobody kidnapped our parents. I'm like, do you know what year we live in right now? People are snatching up people, okay? And she's like, nobody's snatching up old people. Look, listen, they're snatching them up, okay? We need to go. And Mr. Coffee's sitting there. He's just looking at me, shaking his head. I'm like, if this was your mama, you wouldn't have two pisses to say. But it's my parents, and all of a sudden, they're not important enough? He goes, ain't nobody said they weren't important enough. But also, I know ain't nobody stealing your parents. They have guns. What's that got to do with the price of cheese? So I'm like, I'm freaking out, like legit freaking out, thinking somebody has kidnapped my parents, okay? I'm on the phone with my sister for, I don't know, 45 minutes, and the SOS goes off again. Oh, hell no. No. At this time, I'm hollering at my sister. I'm like, you get your crusty ass in your car right now and go check on my parents. Y'all, I was mad. I was like, go check on my parents right now. And she's like, Alishia, they're fine. Did you get that second SOS? And she goes, a second one? I'm like, yes, I just got a second SOS. To which my sister then puts my mom on FaceTime. She didn't answer the phone. And I was like, somebody has taken our parents. I'm about to go Liam Neeson on these people. Nobody's takes my parents. And she's like, something is wrong with you. And she's like, they're fine, I'm sure. And my sister messages my mom to get to the AT&T store to go get her phone checked out, because apparently after so long with iPhones, for some reason, with AT&T, your phone starts glitching out and sending out your SOSs when you're not even doing anything. Like, you don't even have to press the button. It just will randomly send out your SOS. So my mom had to go to the AT&T store to get it fixed. But in my brain, somebody has went to my parents' house, didn't worry about the teenagers that are at their house right now for the summer, just because my dad and my mom have my niece and my nephew over at their house helping out while Pawpaw's been down. Just helping them around the house and stuff. And so I'm like, they skipped over the teenagers, because who wants to kidnap a teenager? Okay, they're grumpy, they got attitude problems, ain't nobody want no teenager. But old people, look, listen, they're looking for Social Security payments. They're looking for like any kind of anything. They think that nobody coming to visit them, so they can just snatch up people. And my parents have people at their house all the time, so I don't know why they would think that, nobody would visit my parents, because my parents' house is always lit. So I'm just like, I don't care. Somebody has kidnapped our parents. You don't care about our parents enough to go check on them. I will go check on them. Y'all, I'm not even joking. I was like 2.35 seconds from booking a flight. And then my mom pops into our chat, because I was chatting with my sister, but I was doing it over video chat. My mom pops in and she goes, what is wrong with you two? I'm like, what is wrong with you? Did you get kidnapped? Blink twice if you're okay. And she's like, what is wrong? And my dad's like, it's Alishia. Just do what she says or she's not going to stop. And so my mom blinks twice and she's like, we're fine. And she's like, we're at the AT&T store. And then my mom pans the camera over to the AT&T lady. I'm like, is that the lady that kidnapped you? And the lady's like, no, I'm trying to help her with her phone. I'm like, where's my dad? My mom pans the phone over to my dad. My dad's like, we're okay. Mom's SOS got stuck or something, and it keeps sending out her SOS. And I'm like, likely story. You sure you're okay? And he's like, we're fine. We're fine. I'm like, And my sister Tisha's like, I told you, you get so worked up over these things. I'm like, you don't understand. Ain't nobody out here in these crafty streets stealing my goddamn own parents, okay? Y'all might be trying to steal somebody else's parents. Y'all ain't stealing my goddamn own parents. And my dad's like, we got guns. I don't care about your guns. You're old. You don't move as quickly as you used to. Come on now. And your leg messed up. Ain't nobody worried about you. And he's like, bye, Alishia. Bye, Pawpaw. Love you. See, talk to you later. Bye, Ma. My mom's like, please fix this phone because this child is crazy. I'm like, I heard that. And she hangs up the phone. I'm like, you know what? But look, listen, can't nobody say that Miss Coffee ain't making sure ain't nobody kidnapping her parents, though. I'm just saying, ain't nobody kidnapping my parents. That's not what we're doing out here in these crafty streets. So that was the start to my Sunday. And then, Orion, we were supposed to go to the zoo this weekend. But Orion asked, could we stay home because one of his little friends wanted to come over and have a play date. And I was just like, Orion, at 10 years old, you don't call them play dates anymore, dude. You just call it hanging out. Your friend wants to come hang out. And he's like, well, can my friend come hang out? Which was a little boy we took with us to the Badlands. So I was like, yeah, home dude. All right, sorry about that. Little technical difficulties. But I was like, yeah, home dude can come hang out with us. Orion, I was saying that Orion had a little friend that wanted to come hang out. So I was like, yeah, he can come hang out with us. Now, Orion doesn't get the concept of what the process is to have a friend come hang out. You have to ask each other's parents, and then each other's parents need to talk so that we can figure out what time works best and everything else. Well, Orion was just like, oh, okay, he tells his friend he can come over. The problem is, Orion didn't bother asking the kid's parents or anything. He asked the kid, thinking that the kid had carte blanche of his own life. And I'm like, Orion, did you even bother asking his parents or whoever he's with this weekend? And he's like, oh, I forgot. You can't. I'm like, okay, now you're out here trying to kidnap people. You can't just take people from their homes, Orion. He's like, it's Jack. I'm like, I don't care if it's your sister. You can't just take people from their homes without asking permission. And he's like, well, I asked Jack if he could. I'm like, you have to ask their parents. And he's like, oh. So just like how when I go somewhere, somebody has to ask you? Yes. I'm like, you can't just take people's kids. Like, now Orion's out here trying to kidnap people. And I'm like, dude, today's word of the day is kidnap. Because apparently everybody's trying to get kidnapped today. And Mr. Coffee's like, you need to go lay back down. You're not feeling well, are you? I'm like, I'm not feeling well. Because I was jostled up. Now, one of the things that causes my migraines is being, like, suddenly jostled up out of my sleep. Like, if there was an emergency and somebody came over and was like, oh my God, Alishia, wake up. That sudden jolt of waking me up will cause a migraine. And my migraines usually last about a day and a half or so. I try to drink a couple of cups of coffee, and I can't. Somebody told me to drink a dark soda, or they told me to drink a Coke. And I was like, I can't drink dark soda. Dark soda it's not very good to me. So I can't drink dark soda. But I can drink coffee. So I drank a couple of cups of coffee. And by, I don't know, 3 or 4 o'clock, I could see straight again. Because, like, my vision's been getting blurry as my migraine was getting worse. Oh, just flung a drill somewhere. But my vision was getting blurry because of the migraine. So it's just like, oh, okay, that's what we're doing today. We're just gonna have blurry vision apparently. So I got to walk around all day Saturday with blurry vision. But Mr. Coffee was like, I'll deal with your phone. Now, Mr. Coffee, I'm just gonna tell y'all this right now. Mr. Coffee hates dealing with my phone because my phone is attached to me at all times. Do I constantly answer messages all day? No. But my phone is still attached to me because I do have a child that does not live with me, so my phone stays attached to me because she will randomly message me throughout the day, and I'm always available to her 24/7. Where I'm not always available for my channel, I'm always available to my kid, and I know you guys understand that. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, well, somebody's got to answer the messages and stuff on my phone. And he's like, well, you didn't put any videos up this weekend, right? I'm like, no. And he goes, oh, well, then there shouldn't be a whole lot of notifications. I got this. Look, listen, I don't know what you guys were doing this weekend. But I know, like, I put up a post saying that I had a migraine just so that if somebody messaged me, they would know that that's why I'm not messaging them back. It's because I have a migraine. So I was in bed all day. And the next thing I know, Mr. Coffee comes up and slams my phone down, face down on the table next to my bed. And I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you? He's like, why do you get so many notifications? And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Y'all, I had over 100 notifications, and I had only been laying down for an hour. And I was like, oh, I'm like, because of the live from last night, I do get a lot of traffic due to live. And he's like, oh my God, make it stop. I'm like, make what stop? I turned the phone on and it was just like ding, ding, ding. It wasn't even notifications from the channel. It was like emails and stuff and people commenting on stuff in the group and stuff. And he's like, why? Turn it off. I'm like, what do you mean turn it off? I'm like, this is normal. And he's like, how do you deal with this all day? I don't know. I just ignore it most of the time, to be honest. Like, if I'm busy doing something, I'll get to it when I get to it. So he's like, I could never be a YouTuber. And I'm like, but why not? He's like, there are so many notifications. I'm like, well, you got to think. That's over 3 different social media platforms. And there was an auction going on for a pin that I wanted. I didn't win the auction. But the notifications were driving Mr. Coffee nuts. So it's essentially like he only had the phone for an hour before he just shut it off. And I was like, don't shut my phone off. And so I turned my phone back on, and I fussed with him for a second. I'm like, sir, I'm going to need you to leave this on and take care of my notifications for me because you promised you would. My phone is like another kid in the house, okay? It's another mouth you have to, like, essentially, it's another being in the house that you have to take care of because I have to take care of my subscribers when they ask questions and blah, blah, blah. Even though I had taken the weekend off, it's not like I was going to be like, I wasn't planning on just not talking to anybody. I was planning on just, answering questions and doing my stuff like I normally do. But I couldn't because I couldn't see straight. He's like, you got people messaging you about nails, and Becky's probably wondering if you're dead or not because you haven't talked to her all day. I don't know how to say good morning to her like you do, so I don't even know if you said good morning to her. And I'm like, I haven't talked to Becky today, no. And he's like, then she's going to be calling here or messaging you here soon, wondering what's wrong. I think Rachel put up something in Patreon. And I'm like, she shouldn't have, it's Saturday. And he's like, well, she did something. And I'm like, she's probably out for the day or something, and she posted pictures. Well, then Jeremy's live on Twitch, and I'm like, okay. And he's like, why are there so many things? I'm like, I keep up with a lot of things. And he goes, I can't do it. I can't. He just leaves. And I'm like, you're going to have to. I can't see my phone. So he comes back like 10 minutes later. He grabs the phone. He goes, I'm putting this thing on silent. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, and the sad part is, I've told him this before, but he doesn't listen fully. Like, he's a guy, so like he listens half-assed. And I told him before, if I ever need you to watch my phone, you only really have to watch out to see if my dad calls or if Minna calls. Because if I don't answer the phone when my dad calls and I don't message him back to let him know, hey, I'm busy or whatnot, he starts to worry, okay? I'm halfway across the world, so like he will worry if I don't message him and be like, hey, I'm busy right now, I'll talk to you later. And then with Minna, she worries, but she'll like just be like continuously messaging me. So I was like, you're pretty much doing it looking for those two. Everything else, you can ignore that. Like, they know I'll get to them when I can. And he's like, but what do they need? I'm like, nobody needs anything. There's people commenting and saying that they hope I feel better and all this. And he's like, there's so many people that message you on a daily basis. I'm like, yes, dear. I'm like, now you see why another reason why he likes that I'm in the office, because he doesn't have to hear the constant notifications. So I'm like, yeah, which is why I stay in the office until the time that I do, because then by the time I get up to moving and sitting with him in the living room, all the notifications have stopped. Like, usually that late at night, I get like a trickle of notifications versus the flow that I get all day. And he's just like, I can't take this. I can't. I don't want to be a YouTuber. I don't want to, do this and that. And I'm like, okay, you don't have to be a YouTuber. I just asked you to watch out for my dad and my daughter. Like, calm down. He's like, I can't do this. I'm like, oh my God. So I just take the phone and I put it on the nightstand, and I was like, go away so I can go back to sleep. Well, at some point he must have came back and got the phone because it went off again. I had turned on like only certain people in my phone would notify my phone, and he didn't want it to wake me up because I finally was able to get to sleep. So he came and got it again, but then he made the mistake of he pressed something on the phone that turned all the notifications back on. So then he sat there and I heard him grumbling downstairs, and I'm like, I'm too tired to care. So he'll just have to figure out how to turn it back to what the setting was. Because essentially when you unlock the phone, if it's on the favorite setting, you don't have to do anything. But if it's not on the favorite setting, it will ask you if you want to turn off, only notifications for just favorites. He had to have turned off that notification. So then all the messages started coming through, and he's just like, by the time I woke up, he was just like, so you follow a lot of people and get notifications for all these people. He goes, by the way, Geneva Bowers says you can use her book. And I was like, that's an old notification. He goes, I was just going through all the notifications. And he's like, there was so many notifications. I'm like, okay. So he made dinner, and we sat down for dinner, and I usually turn my phone off for dinner because that's my peace and quiet family time, and our, the dining room table and whatnot. The whole big deal I made about it, I don't bring my phone to the table. And he's just like, are you going to go back and lay back down? He's like, you really look tired. I'm like, I am very tired. And Maggie's like, can we watch Dragon Ball Z, Mommy? I'm like, please, God, no, please. Like, Maggie is already sick, and I've been popping, like, that vitamin C. Miss Lisa Brown sent us out a bunch of cough drops back when somebody was sick. I think it was Maggie again. Somebody was really sick in the house or something. I don't remember who it was. I don't remember if it was Mr. Coffee or if it was Maggie. One of them was really sick, and Miss Lisa Brown sent us a bunch of cough drops and vitamin C drops. And ever since Maggie's been sick, I've been making sure everybody takes their 2 vitamin C drops a day, because I'm like, ain't nobody else in this house better get freaking sick. So that, and I've been following behind her, disinfecting everything, and because why is it when kids are sick they have to touch everything? They just she's like touching my Tarte warmers. I'm like, stop touching my stuff. Well, she decides she wants to watch Dragon Ball Z, so I told her she can only watch it with me if she sits at the edge of the end of the bed and watches it, because I don't want her near my face. I had fallen asleep while she was watching it, and I wake up, and she's literally laying in my face, mouth wide open, sleep. And I'm like, oh my God. So I call Mr. Coffee to come pick her up and take her to her room. He goes, vitamin C drop, please. Because essentially, I don't know how long I've been sleeping with her face on my face as she's breathing with her mouth open towards my face. And he's like, so you're gonna get sick now? Probably. But I'm gonna try not to get sick, because yeah, little outbreak monkey is trying to get me sick over here. So yeah. But that was essentially my weekend. Very interesting weekend. Oh, also, I found out what happened to my lights, because if you were in live on Friday, I had to put up a warning, an epilepsy warning, because my lights kept flashing off and on, and everybody, Ruby Q kept saying it was a rape ghost or some crap, and I'm like, it's not a rape ghost. Apparently, the bulbs that I bought are Wi-Fi. Like, they work off the Wi-Fi. So, essentially what was happening is, those bulbs, sorry, I had to yawn. Those bulbs work off your Wi-Fi. But apparently, I didn't realize this, but they don't like working together. Like, they're not team players, okay? So, when they both were on, one would shut off, and the other one would stay on. And then the other one would come back on, and then the other bulb would go off. And I'm like, why is it doing that? Apparently, because that particular bulb doesn't like to work in the same room. So, I would have to put one of those bulbs upstairs, one of those bulbs downstairs. The problem is, my ballast in my craft room takes 2 bulbs. So, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to need that extra bulb. So, yeah, I'm returning the bulbs because, yeah, I don't need the discoing in here. Luckily, it didn't affect Maggie, but I didn't want it discoing in here all the time. So I was like, I need to find bulbs that work together because I need at least 2 of them for the craft room. So I ordered some different bulbs that supposedly do great together. Like, I can use 5 of them in the same room without it causing any issues. So I'm hoping to have some new bulbs for my craft room soon. Why are you moving out of space? Sorry, one drill just kind of decided to pop up there. So I guess since I'm up early, I'll get some cleaning done. I'm not sure, because I didn't get a chance to clean this weekend. But I did get Mr. Coffee to put together my shelves for the mudroom so that I could, we have the little utility shelves that I wanted put up because I wanted to be able to put shoes on them so that the shoes weren't just thrown in there. And so I got him to put the shelves together this weekend, so I'm going to clean up the mudroom to get that all organized and great. And then I don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of my day because I've never been up this early. It's only 8:30 and I'm just like, seriously, I'm sitting here freaking out because I'm like, what am I supposed to do all day? Orion probably won't be up for the next 3 or 4 hours. I thought about just going back to sleep, and I was like, no, get up. After here, I'm like, I'm going to just get up, get a shower, get ready for my day, because I know if I try to go back to sleep, that's the moment the kids will both be waking up. Maggie has already gone back to sleep. So for Prime Day, I got some of the Echoes shows, and they are the ones with the screens on them that show you the different rooms. Well, I have the screen on for Maggie's room, and she's already asleep again. I'm pretty sure Orion's still asleep because he hasn't made his presence downstairs yet. So I'm like, awesome. So they're both still asleep. The dogs are also asleep out in front of the door, and I'm now the only one awake. So I'm just like, I don't want to clean. I want to go back to sleep. But I know the moment I go to lay down, yeah, they'll both wake up and be ready to start the day. Or those little kids from around the corner will be like, hey, can the kids come out and play? So I'm just going to end up having to take a nap today because my head still kind of hurts. And yeah, so I think I'm just going to take a nap later on today. Oh boy, life is hard. But if you made it to this point in the video, congratulations, because this is where I'm going to do my very first giveaway. Now, as you guys know, Miss Coffee does the tumblers, so that is going to be my giveaway prize to you is a tumbler. The tumbler will be of probably one of my sayings. So, it's going to be your choice in saying, and then it'll have my little emoji girl on it. It will be a glitter tumbler. Actually, no. I'll make it one of the color changing tumblers. So all you have to do is write a comment on this video. You write a comment, I do a random comment picker in a week, and we choose a winner. Do keep in mind that my comment pickers, the winner, I will comment on the comment that you put on the video. And all I do is I comment winner, winner, chicken dinner. You have to contact me via Facebook, Instagram, or email. You have to verify your identity if I don't know you already. And then you can claim your prize and we can get your prize sent out to you. Yes, this is an international prize. Please do not say giveaway in the comment section because your comment will be blocked and I will delete it. I never announce in my videos when and where a giveaway is going to happen. And this is going to be the first giveaway I do for this DP along. So, yes, good luck to you all. And yeah, so that's my first giveaway. I'm excited though because I'm kind of wondering if I should just go over there and do my paint by numbers, because that paint by numbers is calling my name, y'all. Like, you ever have a project call your name? That paint by numbers is calling my name. Every time I see it sitting over there, I'm just like, just work on it. Just pre-record your videos at this point, because I just want to work on that. I got Bling Bling Bear, and I was worried because I was like, I don't want them to think that I'm not going to work on Bling Bling Bear again and they're not going to see it. Like, I want to do that entire bear. Well, for the most part, I did the entire bear so far on camera. And then I want to finish him on camera with you guys to show you the finished product. And then put all the videos together so there's like a playlist of the Bling Bling Bear. And then I want to do the same thing with the paint by numbers. I want to get through a lot of these projects. So I want to start, instead of unboxing so much, you guys would also probably like to see me working on said projects, especially when I get these little side projects. So I want to start working on them more. So that's what I'm going to start doing. Is I'm going to start doing series. Now, because I'm doing series, I don't know if that's going to affect anything else on the channel. I might miss a day. I might have to upload an extra day or something. But I want to start doing series because I do want to get through some of these projects. Especially that paint by numbers, because like I said, I didn't tell you guys, but I already have 2 more paint by numbers on the way from DIY Moon Shop. So I'm just like, yeah, you should probably get through the one you have already. Not only that, I have another paint by numbers from Crafties that I haven't even unboxed yet. So I'm just like, oh no, another rabbit hole. So I'm gonna try to start doing series of me completing some of these smaller projects in between my diamond painting. That, and it'll help me slow down on my kit so that I'm not finishing before Rachel does. I don't know what her progress is right now, but because I think she was gone this weekend from what I saw this morning. So I don't know where her progress is right now, but I don't want to finish this and then have her kind of working on a project by herself, because I don't know if I have any more rainbow kits. I should, but I'm not 100% sure. So, yeah, just to kind of keep myself at bay from flying through this kit, I am going to be working on like some little side projects, because I know Rachel does do like her cross stitching and stuff extra on the side, so she doesn't just strictly work on diamond painting. So it's nice to have the other projects to work on, because that means I actually will complete something. So there's that. But I should probably get out of here and go try to start my day, I guess. It's almost 9 o'clock. I still am way earlier than I would normally get up, because my alarms don't even go off until 9:45. So I'm just kind of like sitting here like, great. So I guess I'll just go do some laundry or something. I don't know. What do you people do this early in the morning? I'm not a typical mom, because my kids don't get up until like 10 o'clock, 11. So I'm just like, what am I supposed to do for the next 2 hours? So I don't know. I'll figure out something. But with that said, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave those down in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to answer them to the best of my ability. If you're new to the channel and would like to see more random crazy videos just like this, please feel free to hit the subscribe button and the bell to be notified anytime I randomly decide to put up a video. And believe me, it's random. But with that said, folks, I must now bid you adieu. But not before reminding you that it's hard out here in these crafty streets, so please remember to wash your hands, wear your mask, don't touch your face, keep your 6 feet, and always try to be kind, be courteous, be cool. Bye, guys.